The NFL draft has concluded, and shout out to Broncos fans who once again proved at the NFL draft that we are the best dancers in the league. That's how we do it. Welcome to That's Good Sports. I'm your draft sexpert, Brandon Perna, and today I'm breaking down just how decisively the Denver Broncos won the football draft. In fact, the only thing that could have made me, more impressed than what they did would have been if they just gave away their picks to show how confident and badass they are heading into the 2022 football season. With the 64th pick in the NFL draft, the Denver Broncos select nobody, bitch. Our roster's good to go. That would have been cool. Basically what the Rams did. Instead, Denver opted to draft players and got an edge rusher in Nick Bonito, who has possibly the highest upside of all the pass rushers ever.
No question a first rounder for me. I mean, no question.
So number 5 is already a first rounder.
No doubt about it. You know who else where I want to go to where he could be? I wrote Micah Parsons down too.
So yeah, Chris Sims just compared him to Micah Parsons, and I'd say Micah Parsons is pretty good. Let's look at the entire Denver Broncos 2022 draft class. If you like football videos on your YouTube, subscribe here. Today's episode is sponsored by Blue Block's Blue Light Glasses. The only blue light blocking glasses I use. Get out of here, blue light, you devil! Everyone thinks the devil is red. Wrong, it's blue. But it can make your eyes red. Now, I told you I use these glasses to protect my eyes during my hours and hours and hours of computer screen staring. But I also started using them before going to bed. They say you should turn off your screen an hour before you go to bed to help your sleep. And I say do what? Read a book like a square? No, I'm going to stare at my phone in bed for at least an hour, and with these bad boys on, I don't have to worry about blue light messing with my circadian rhythm. So go to blueblocks.com/thatsgoodsports and use the coupon code thatsgoodsports at checkout to get 20% off. Blue Block ships worldwide and has glasses available in prescription and non-prescription with easy exchanges and returns for your convenience. Again, that's BLUBLOX.com/thatsgoodsports, or just click the link below and make sure to use code thatsgoodsports to get 20% off your order. Now, I'm not gonna lie, waiting for the Broncos to pick at 64 was the greatest test of my patience I've ever experienced. And I have a 20-month-old at home.
The Broncos selects Nick Bonito, linebacker, Oklahoma.
But with the final pick in the second round, the Denver Broncos got a great value edge rusher addressing their biggest area of need, in my opinion, in Oklahoma's Nick Bonito, aka Casa Bonito, aka your fucking dead Herbert Mahomes and Carr. I hope you three invested in diapers, cause it won't be Bonito when you're shitting your pants every time you have to play the Broncos. Now Nick was destined for the Broncos' edge. Pick 64 arrived via the Von Miller trade. Then the technology-hating, QB-destroying Elvis Doomerville announced the pick. That's two pretty damn good Broncos edge rushers involved, and his last name is literally the most famous restaurant in Colorado, now owned by the biggest celebrities in Colorado in Trey Parker and Matt Stone, and he already has a knack for sacking quarterbacks who don ugly red helmets and wear the number 15, and probably have annoying family members. I cannot imagine how this will come in handy in the AFC West. Now, the knocks on Bonito are his size, which some believe make him a bit liable in run defense as he can struggle to disengage from blocks and get pushed around a bit. Most reports suggest he can turn into an every down edge player, especially because a strength of his is the ability to drop into coverage. Immediately though, I think Bonito can come in and be a pass rush specialist. which, if Bradley Chubb and Randy Gregory stay healthy, is a perfect situation for Nick. Bonito had 7 sacks last year at Oklahoma, 9 the season before, which is respectable. The Draft Network ranked him as their 68th best prospect overall. Pro Football Focus had him as their 38th best prospect and gave him the 9th and 11th highest pass rushing grades in all of college football over the last 2 years. Essentially, the Broncos are betting on his elusiveness off the snap. Like a magician, he has several tricks to get past blockers and to the QB, and despite possibly getting pushed around a bit when linemen get their filthy hands on him, he's a great open field tackler. My grade for him is an A. Hell, PFF named him the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year last season. But I have to believe those numbers are combined stats from 2020 and 2021 because nowhere else does he have those numbers. And here's just a quick piece of advice for college football players. Don't give opinions of current NFL players on Twitter if you have any chance of playing in the NFL. Just like someone found on Nick Bonito's timeline dating back to January 5th, 2019, he tweeted, "Russell Wilson ain't it. 100. And now Russ is his QB1. And Russ was the first to congratulate Nick publicly on Twitter. Now, if you go back to January 5th, 2019, it was a wild card game between the Seahawks and Cowboys. So maybe Bonito was just voicing his frustration about the result of that game. And Dallas won that game 24-22. I rewatched highlights from that game because I'm a sicko, and I think Russell Wilson dropped a few dimes, especially when he had protection. Had Janikowski not been injured on a missed field goal, they might win that game. Down 10 with 2 minutes in the game, Russ got them within 2. My point? Russell Wilson highlights are easy to get lost in. And Nick Bonito, at age 19, probably isn't offering great QB evaluations on Twitter. However, his basketball takes from 2019, spot on. Again, Nick was born to be a Denver Bronco. The football gods have been crafting this marriage for years. It's an arranged marriage that will turn into real love. After trading back in the 3rd round with the Texans, the Denver Broncos select
Greg Dulcich, tight end, UCLA.
AKA Fabio Franco, who may fail a few NFL drug tests since he literally drinks Pantene Pro V so he can roll out of bed looking like this. Now, the Draft Network and Pro Football Focus had closer grades on Dulcich at 70 and 74, so the fact that Denver netted an extra pick before selecting Dulcich is great value. Brett Coleman called him a seam ripper, and not just because his dad was a tailor.
UCLA's Greg Dulcich is the only tight end that I have in Tier 1 this year. He also brings vertical ability to the pass game. Dulcich is a legit seam ripper down the field.
So, another win for George Paton. And stop fucking questioning George Paton on Twitter. He knows what he's doing. Now, Dulcich's ability as a vertical threat makes me believe this is a pick specifically for Russell Wilson. Real quick, my writing partner and podcast co-host, Will Keys, predicted this draft pick on our live stream, which makes me believe this pick was also destiny. Now, I know many of you don't think tight end is a need for the Broncos. Well, newsflash, the Broncos roster is so nice they don't really have any massive needs. Losing Noah Fant does create a void at the position, and at the very least, Dulcich can come in behind Albert O. So I'm happy they grabbed a tight end who scored a touchdown once out of every 5 times he caught the ball in 2020 and averaged 17.3 yards per reception in 2021 on 42 grabs. Dulcich has been compared favorably to tight ends like Rob Gronkowski, but harder to tackle. Tony Gonzalez, but more polished on his route running. Greg Olsen, minus the weird college rap.
G-Reg, what you do? Get head, how you do? Drop my drawers and let us see my third leg.
Jimmy Graham, but only when he was a Saint. Shannon Sharp, but better at trash talking. And finally, George Kittle with a better sense of humor. He's also been compared to Owen Daniels. Then we get to day 3, today, the 4th round. In the 4th round, the Broncos had back-to-back selections, taking Pitt corner Damarri Mathis and a man who spent 6 years in college at Iowa State probably trying to learn how to pronounce his own name, Eyioma Uwazurike. Just think Al Pacino from Scent of a Woman and add Zurke.
Hooah!
Zurke.
Hooah!
Zurke.
Tits. Hooah!
Zurke. Currently, I feel more excited about the Uwazurike pick based on the immediate response I received on Twitter from Seahawks fans who wanted him and Iowa State fans who were hyped Denver drafted him. With the departure of Shelby Harris in the Russell Wilson trade, defensive line was an area we expected the Broncos to address in the draft. Uwazurike is 6'6" and 316 pounds and had 9 sacks last season for the Cyclones, plus 12 tackles for a loss.
You're a big mamma jamma. I can't wait to get you on that field.
He can play on the edge and he can play inside. And that versatility should get him on the field very quickly as a rookie. I expect to see him adding depth behind defensive ends, Draymond Jones, and McTelvin Agim, and Deshaun Williams. Best case scenario, he's a stud and locks down the side opposite of Draymond Jones, who can bat balls like Shelby Harris. Now, some are concerned about his age at 24. At 24. I'd be concerned if he were 32 coming out of college, but he wasn't 32. And the best thing about Uwazurike is that he was academically ineligible as a freshman. 6 years later, he graduated academic all-conference in the Big 12. He turned a weakness into a strength. Shout out to Ryan Koenigsberg for digging up that stat. I'm academically ineligible to be fucking talking on YouTube. Now, their other selection actually went before Uwazurike, Damarri Mathis, interesting corner. He likes to hit like a safety in a way that makes him like current Bronco Kareem Jackson, who I'm sure will teach him a thing or two this season. Expect Mathis to be used in nickel and slot roles where his physicality can be used to Denver's advantage. And I'm just waiting patiently until he does this to Travis Kelce the first time Mahomes tests him. Okay. He's a great tackler and can instantly help on special teams in that department. Both of those picks get a grade of a B. In the fifth round, the Broncos select Oklahoma safety Delarrin Turner. Yell. His last name is Yell. Actually, I got an even dumber nickname for him. Delarrin, the McLaren, 'cause when you see him, you're gonna turn and yell. Delarrin, McLaren, 'cause when you see him, you're gonna turn and yell. Now, Delarrin Turner Yell was the second Sooner off the board for Denver, pairing him with their second round pick, Nick Bonito. Turner Yell missed some games last season and back in 2018, but he's stout against the run and should fit in as a zone safety for the Broncos. A notable stat for Turner Yell was he led the Sooners last year with 3 interceptions, despite missing a game due to COVID. At pick 162, the Broncos go wide receiver, get Montrell Washington from Samford. That's Samford, not Stanford. The Broncos do get their Deontay Spencer replacement on special teams. Washington had 1,938 all-purpose yards last year, which led the FCS. So with these late round picks, start thinking about these guys being able to contribute on special teams, which was a big area of concern for the Broncos last season. And with their final pick in the 5th round, Denver moved up 8 spots with the Packers to select Washington offensive lineman Luke Wattenberg. We got a Watt. The Denver Broncos got a Watt. Wattenberg can play center, so that tells you they wanted to get some competition in the building for Lloyd Cushenberry. It must have been high on him to move up there. He's off the charts in terms of whatever the hell these nerd-ass analytics are, so major athletic upside, I'm guessing. Then they added another defensive end, depth here in Matt Henningsen out of Wisconsin in the 6th, and said, hell, let's save some time and stick with Wisconsin, concluding the draft with speedy corner Faion Hicks. So I give their late round draft picks a solid C.
Golf clap.
So overall, I really like what the Broncos did in this draft, considering they didn't have a day one pick and didn't pick until the very end of the second round. Great value with Nick Bonito, and UCLA tight end Greg Dulcich. We'll see how the rest of the dudes pan out, but pretty sure it's a Super Bowl roster now. Boom, and that's it. Thanks for watching the Denver Broncos draft recap. I'll have another full draft recap up tomorrow, and Will Keys and I will be podcasting over on the That's Good Broncos channel to talk more in depth about these picks. So subscribe and watch over there if you really love just Broncos jizzy content.